Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'll be your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and joining me, of course, is the co-founder here of the channel, Mr. Football himself, Vincent Turner. And Vincent, it is finally time. Football season officially kicks off tonight with your Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. But we are here today to make the grand return for the Atlanta Falcons weekly report. We're going to be breaking down their week one game coming up here this Sunday against the dreaded Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their NFC South rivals. I'm excited. Football is finally back. Vince, how are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, Mr. Logan Landers. It's footballers in the area in the state of Georgia. It's real funny. Everybody want to bring up my Cowboys because I guess we're not going to be really good this year based on we trading our best player away. But I understand that. But excitement here in Atlanta, the NFC South. I'm predicting them to win the division, and I think they got one of the best young players in the game at the quarterback position, Mr. Michael Penix. Back to you, sir.
And we will talk all about Michael Penix as well as, of course, break down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and some of the strong points they have over there. But before we get into today's show, guys, we have a very important cause we have coming up here in the upcoming Metro Atlanta area. This is going to be some work with Faith with Works by Janine. So check that out. They're in need of some help, some donations, some volunteers on September 19th in Atlanta. Some of the ways that you can help out. We do have some options here. If I can find the screen, I don't know where my screen went, Vincent. We'll find it one of these days. But you can help out with that cause. They're in search of bags. They're in search of other various goods as well. And just a fantastic way to help out the local community here. As we know, the weather's getting a little bit colder here in the state. So, this Faith with Works by Janine, we're trying to help out, the local community in multiple different ways. And some ways that you can do that by helping out, once again, on September 19th, is you can help out. You can help donate with various goods such as some first aid kits, some large Ziploc baggies, as well as some food like granola bars or applesauce, some non-perishable item stuff that's going to be around for quite some time, as well as some tote bags, Pop-A-Lid canned goods, as well as some wipes, hand sanitizer, various travel size products, whether it be shampoo, hand sanitizer, anything along that nature. You can help out with that, and some other great ways you can help out the cause as well, too. If I can get my screen back here, and here we go, back on the board here. We got some other great points as well with vitamins or juice boxes, washcloths as well. And if you have the funds to donate with some gift cards as well, such as Kroger, various other gas stations in town, you can do that as well. So always helpful to help out there with that. And we're thankful for all those who can give and donate at this time as well for this upcoming event. Once again, it's going to be on the 19th. You can check that out there. And once again, just the location is going to be at Woodruff Park there. It's going to be on 91 Peachtree Street. It's going to start at 9 a.m., and that's going to be on September 19th. So mark your calendars. Of course, we'll be talking more about that and promoting it as we get closer and closer. It's about 15 days away at this recording. So you got plenty of time to stock up and help out those in need. Once again, September 19th, start time, 9 a.m. there at Woodruff Park at 91 Peachtree Street. Well, Vincent, let's get into it. The floor, we'll start off with you, and you can talk all about the Falcons, talking about the Buccaneers as well, and some of the bullet points you want to go through here as we get into this week one matchup.
Okay, my bullet points for our first show today for the 2025 season concerning the Atlanta Falcons. I know a lot of people out there, Falcon fans, have had a lot of concern about Caleb McGarry getting hurt at the right type of spot, the spot that supposed to protect Michael Penix Jr. this season. But I don't think you need to worry. The Falcons, even though they're starting a veteran, Elijah Wilkinson, remember this guy's been in the league for, 6-7 years. He's went up and down. He's been on practice squads. But the one thing I like about him, he's 30 years old in his experience. And he has played some football, so I wouldn't really worry about that too much because you got Chris Lynchman and you still got Jake Matthews. My second bullet point, man, Baker Mayfield. Now think about this. This guy was the first overall pick when he came out in the draft. Then things didn't work out in Cleveland. Then he went out to Carolina. Then he went out to LA, the Rams, learned under Matthew Stafford. Did we really see that he was going to be this special in Tampa? But sometimes it shows me you got to be in the right place in the right spot. And Baker Mayfield has taken that Tampa Bay offense to another level since it's been there. Last year, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 INTs. And he's got probably, I'm going to say, a Hall of Fame receiver in Mike Evans. So we know Mike Evans, I don't know what he's consecutively 1,000-yard receiving yards he's had in the season. But when you talk about a Hall of Fame player that's been consistent, and I'm sure he's going to be consistent this year, I think Tampa offense is not going to miss a beat. And don't forget about the rookie that came out of Oregon that a lot of people was concerned about, Bucky Irving. He's a player. And then Emeka Obuka out of Ohio State. He's going to bring his 2,800 yards to Tampa this year and 24 career touchdowns. Then finally, we got to give Todd Bowles his flowers. When he took over the job, and especially the first year when Tampa went 8-9, but they won the division, I remember people down in Tampa was calling for his head. That's right, they was calling for his head. But you look at what he's done in Tampa in his 3 years, first place in the NFC South. And last year, they was very competitive in the playoffs. So Todd Bowles, flowers to you. And finally, can I give the Falcons organization credit? Can I even give Raheem Morris credit? Outstanding. Jeff Ubert, can I give you credit? Logan, the Falcons are starting 4 rookies. Is that special? They're starting 4 rookies. You know what that tells me? They're trying to get their leak fixed on defense, and I'm excited. Usually when you start young players on defense, you're going to be very successful. James Pierce and Jalen Walker, both of them played in the toughest conference of all of college football, the SEC. Don't get it twisted. And think about this, why I'm excited about their defense this year. Look what the LA Rams did when they took Gerard Verse and Brandon Fisk in the first round. Gerard Verse in the first round and Brandon Fisk in the second round out of Florida State. Did I not think the Rams had the Eagles on the ropes in the playoffs? Did we not say the Rams had the Eagles on the playoffs? So I'm excited about the Falcons defense this season. And it's back to you, Mr. Logan Landers.
Yes, sir, Mr. Turner. Always great insight there looking at both of these teams. And I've got some bullet points as well for both clubs. We're going to start off, of course, with the hometown, with the Atlanta Falcons. Got to talk about their quarterback, because this time last season, we were in a completely different world, it feels like, a quarterback. We had Kirk Cousins ready to go, big offseason acquisition. And my, oh my, how things have changed in the last 365 days. Kirk Cousins is now riding the pine. He is the most expensive backup in quite some time. But we have Michael Penix Jr., who we saw flashes of last season, played in 5 games, had 3 starts overall, and did fairly well for himself. We saw the poise and the confidence grow as the weeks went on. He finished the year 58% completion percentage. Nice to see there. Getting close to 800 yards, 775, 3 touchdowns, 3 INTs, and what I like about him is the off-season growth that he's had, right? Because you hear all about, guys are training, they're lifting weights, they're doing cardio. Everyone can do that, right? That's fine. But for a quarterback, you got to have that mental toughness. You got to have that edge to you, if you will. Well, back in August, Vincent, Michael Penix proved that he can get down, that he is not afraid to back up his teammates. If you recall, the Falcons were hosting a joint practice with the Tennessee Titans, and there was a little bit of a scuffle broke out, a little bit of a brouhaha, and Michael Penix was up front and center. He said, "This is my team. This is my club, and I'm not backing down." He was involved there with the big guys, and you love to see that. Look, he didn't get hurt. Love to see that, but you want to see that leadership from the man under center. So that shows me that he believes in his club full-heartedly. And also Raheem Morris, who I'll talk more about here in a minute, said in the press conference that Penix was finding his voice in the locker room, telling me that he's evolving as a leader, right? He's getting stronger, not just physical play, not just stats, but in the locker room where it matters most, where he's going out to dinners with guys, he's playing cards with them on the plane ride, and he's getting that chemistry, which you need if you want to be a successful franchise quarterback in the National Football League. And Falcons have been looking for a quarterback of that nature. They thought it was going to be Kirk Cousins, didn't work out. And they're hoping that Michael Penix Jr. is going to be the answer for that. But we'll talk about Tampa now and some of the difficulties that Michael will have to face come week one. It's not an easy game, obviously. With Tampa, they've won the division 3 years in a row, and they've got a very good lineup on both offense, as Vincent mentioned. And for defense, they've got some really good strong safeties and corners, guys like Antoine Winfield Jr. Last season, a little bit banged up, but he's going to be coming back as a free safety. You think that he's going to have another great season for them. Tyke Smith as well, someone who has been a lot of talk of the town in the Tampa community, someone who's transitioned from a nickel corner out to a strong safety. A lot of good reports on him saying that he's just really evolved and looked great in his transition with that. So two guys both in their mid and early 20s who, honestly, Vincent, if all things go well, they could be in the backfield for Tampa for quite some time. So you got to watch out for those gentlemen. Also at the cornerback spot, you've got Jamel Dean. Really good figure there, physical player, someone who's not going to be afraid to get up on the line and bump up and run against those receivers there. A guy that I know you're really hoping has a good year, maybe not against the Falcons, but in general, that's Benjamin Morrison, former Notre Dame product, drafted in the second round, was hurt a little bit, but I think that, if he is healthy, he's going to be a great addition to Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay defense. Also, another gentleman to watch out for is Jacob Parrish, third-round pick from Kansas State with the Wildcats. Shown a lot of potential in the preseason, a lot of hype around him. Great agility, great awareness as well. You've seen in a nickelback role. So I think that that's another player to watch out for if you're Michael Penix. I think that the secondary, it's improved compared to last year. That's kind of a weaker spot for Tampa, but they had those issues. They addressed it through free agency, through the draft, through picking up various other depth pieces, and that's going to be a big factor, as well as, they're great linebackers and D linemen in this upcoming season. We're going to go back to the coaching tree. We're going to go back to Raheem Morris. And in my notes, I put, it's his time to shine, Vincent. Why do I put that? Well, last season, he went 8-9 overall. We thought the Falcons would be a little bit better. But that was his first full season as head coach for Atlanta. We know he had a cup of coffee there in 2020, but a lot of hype around him last year. And like I said, just kind of fell short of expectations. But it's a guy who, look, this is a personal game for him. As we know, he was the head coach for Tampa Bay back when he really got his career started. He was 31-32 when he was the head coach for that team. And obviously, we know it didn't work out in the end. But, he's always going to have that personal grudge. He's a young coach. He went around like he went to, you mentioned the Rams earlier. He was there, championship with them back in 2021 as the defensive coordinator, put his name kind of back on the map. The locker room seems like we don't hear a whole lot of negativity. I don't hear a whole lot about that in the Falcons locker room. I don't hear any, people going to the press or saying bad things about Coach Morris. You'll see it on social media, obviously, because everyone's got an opinion. But in the internal locker room, in the GM's office with Terry Fontenot and company, I don't hear a whole lot of that. But I think that now that he's had an off season where they hopefully, fingers crossed, have the quarterback situation figured out, as well as some really good young pieces on both offense and defense, getting some time to shine, getting some time to just grow and just get better as players. It seems like they do believe in Raheem Morris, so he's got a lot of hope around him this season that he can take the Falcons, like I said, hopefully to an NFC championship or NFC South championship title there, and hopefully further beyond if you are a Falcons fan. Now, we're going to go to the defensive side this time for the ATL, and that is the dynamic duo, right? The tag team that we like to say here with A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates III, the dynamic cornerback and strong safety combo. We know Terrell, he struggled, he banged up a little bit last year, right? But hopefully he's back and fully healthy, ready to go this year, because we know how tremendous he was in 2023, really ever since he got drafted by the club. It's just he was a little bit banged up last year, but 6'1", just under 200 pounds. Lightning fast speed, 4.4 40 speed right there. Great coverage, awesome in transition, and also he can play press, he can play man, he can play zone. I mean, he is just that prototypical corner that you want. Hopefully he can have a good bounce back here. And as for Jesse Bates III, he was the big all-season signing for Atlanta last year coming into the season. He looked tremendous. He was everything you could hope for and then some. He's got high ratings. Everyone picks him as, a top 5, top 3 safety in the game today. And the Falcons are happy to have him. A guy who can get interceptions, can force fumbles, can tackle well. There's not a whole lot of weak points with Jesse Bates. He can do a little bit of everything. Guy who, like I said, he's going to be in Defensive Player of the Year category nominations probably if all things go well. Someone who's gotten over 700 tackles, over 24 picks, over 10 forced fumbles. That's coming into the season. So his body of work speaks for itself. And I think that if we can get those guys back and just playing to the caliber that we know that they can, that the Falcons are primed, I think, to have another good season on defense because, like you mentioned, with James Pierce, with Jalen Walker, hopefully there to cause more havoc getting to the quarterback. And then you got those two studs in the back in the secondary helping out, protecting the ball, that hopefully this Falcons defense is going to rise up, pun intended, and really look solid this upcoming year. Because we all have high hopes for the offense, right? With Penix, with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, et cetera, et cetera. And it kind of feels like, Vincent, we're building, we're climbing up that mountain, right? We're getting there. We're chugging along. Last season, we slipped a little bit, but we're getting back up because that's what champions do. You stand up, you fight, and you get back, and you get even better next year. So hopefully that's what the Falcons can do in week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once again, this game is going to be played 1 o'clock Eastern on September 7th, and Falcons got the home field advantage. It's going to be at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. Vincent, let's get your final thoughts here on the teams, on your final thoughts, your score, if you have a prediction, who's going to win in this week 1 matchup.
As I always tell the truth, and I speak from the heart, the Atlanta Falcons, to me, have the best overall team in the division. I expect a win on Sunday. I expect Michael Penix is going to be the second coming of Michael Vick. They got two of the top offensive players in the top 100, and Drake London at the receiver position and Bijan Robinson. Defensively, they have improved immensely, even though they lost their best player, Grady Jarrett, but drafting 2 rookies who I think are going to be impact players, and Mr. Jalen Walker out of Georgia, and Mr. James Pierce out of Tennessee. And then you starting 2 rookies in the backfield, Billy Bowman out of Oklahoma, and then Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. I think the Falcons scale levels up, and I expect them to be a playoff team. I'm not playing. I'm telling the truth. Anything lesser, Raheem Morris has to be fired. It's that simple. He's got a very talented football team. All the talking, all this and that is over with. This is a very, very special football team. This Falcons football team is just about more talented than I've seen a lot of Falcon football teams overall in the last 10 years. I think this team is more an equivalent right now to the team that went to the Super Bowl. Granted, there's a very, very, what I would say, discrepancy at the quarterback position. Of course, Matt Ryan had played in the league a lot. But Michael Penix, if you want to know how special he is, go back and see how he played at Washington them last 2 years and how he was throwing the football. And now you got Drake London that's been in the league for 3 years and Bijan Robinson, 2 of the top players in this league. And defensively, you was able to go out and get 2 quality players, productive players in the best conference of all of football, college, the SEC. No, this is a critical year for Raheem Morris. Anything lesser than the playoffs, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. And I want to say before I end the day, my final words. You got to give Arthur Smith a lot of credit. Granted, things didn't work out, but he drafted Drake London. He drafted Bijan Robinson. The only thing that got Arthur Smith up out of here was at the quarterback position. And it happens in the National Football League. But the Falcons clearly are a playoff team. Let's don't play around with it today longer. Let's don't say, they need this. No, this is a very talented football team with very talented, good players. They're young, but I expect them to win the division. My final words. Back to you, Mr. Logan Landers.
I mean, we're starting off the year with these 2 teams, and we're probably going to end the year with these 2 teams battling for the top spot in the NFC South. You know, the Carolina Panthers team on the come up, and with the New Orleans Saints, a team who just unproven, right? We don't know a whole lot about them at the moment with the new quarterback situation and everything, but 2 teams who are loaded on both sides of the ball, right? Offense and defense, 2 favorites coming into the year. And you mentioned Raheem Morris might have to have his feet to the fire if things don't work out, but sometimes knowing that you have that pressure can make you better, right? Sometimes you need a little bit of an edge to get you where you need to go, a little bit of adversity. And if they can couple all that together with Michael Penix, who, I mean, just go look back at his history in college football. I mean, the injuries he dealt with, transfer portal, going from Indiana over to Washington, as you said, kind of being a guy that no one really even thought of for a couple of years, and then having that breakout season there with the Huskies, finally coming here to Atlanta, having to wait his time with Kirk Cousins, but it shows, right, that to keep your head down, you put the work in, and you get better and better every day. Then you'll reap the fruits of your labor, and that's what Michael's going to be hopefully doing this year for the Falcons, throwing a lot of touchdowns and scrambling out of the pocket, helping make plays, big plays. And Bijan Robinson is already, a lot of people say, one of the best running backs in the league. We love him here. He can do everything, right? He can catch passes. He can run for big yards. He can block. He can do anything you want him to do. And then, like you said, Drake London, who I still feel doesn't get the respect he deserves from the national media. He does great here and work in Atlanta, and we love him. And, of course, everyone's going to go to Kyle Pitts, Vincent. Everyone's got to go to Kyle Pitts, saying, is this finally the year? He is in a contract year, so we're going to see if this is the year that they, all the fantasy football experts say, oh, man, you got to get some touchdowns for it. We'll see if this is finally it for Kyle. But I think that this Falcons team, as you mentioned, both these teams are going to be battling for the division like we've been watching the last couple of years. But this year, more so than ever, I think it's going to be tight. But we're all hoping. We all want the Falcons to get it. And I think that they have the talent, the skill set, the head coach to do so. So I will have the Falcons getting the W week 1 at home. I'll go final score in this one. I'll keep a little bit lower scoring for week 1, 21-17 in Atlanta's favor. We will see what happens. Guys, want to hear your thoughts, your predictions in the comments section, Facebook, YouTube. Also, be sure to go download our podcast on any major podcast streaming platform like Spotify or Apple Podcast. That's thanks to the fine folks over there at the Believe Podcast Network for helping us out and getting us connected in all those various platforms. Our co-founder today, Mr. Football himself, Vincent Turner. Great getting back with you, talking Falcons football like we've been doing all season. I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Once again, drop your comments. Let us know. We'll talk with you how you think this game's going to go and how you think the season will go for the Atlanta Falcons. Until next time, we'll see you guys again on another episode here on 100 Yards of Football.